What's happening, people? Okay, look like I got a black eye. So today, y'all remember I told y'all about Harold, my mama's best friend, one of her ex-lovers. Harold transitioned today. He had stage 4 cancer, and he transitioned at 12:32 p.m. and I was with him. My mom was supposed to, her intentions was to be there. Her intentions were supposed to be there. Um, she wanted to be there, should I say. And she was trying to get me to go home. She was like, "You can go ahead and go home and come pick me up at 2 o'clock." And I was telling her, "No, I'm not going home. I ain't going nowhere." And that was never my intentions to leave when I packed up and went there to pick him up or to take her to the other hospital that he was at on Monday. I stayed a little bit, then I went home, gathered my things, and came back on Tuesday. And I took her home, and I was there for the 3 days with him. I played, and all of this was just like intuitive moving, I should say. I played different meditations to connect with the inner child, the hope and open up, the forgiveness of yourself and everyone, um, connecting with the higher self, connecting with your loved ones, DNA reconstructions, things to soothe this pain, different frequencies. And I also played him blues because he loved blues, and I played him Motown. And he went out on the song. I heard it through the grapevine. This day was so etheric and beautiful that it's really indescribable, but I'm gonna share how things unfolded. How things unfolded. I was last night, or night before last now. I was in the room and I was chilling, and all of a sudden I started feeling really bad, like I was coming down with the flu. I'm like, whoa, okay, this came from out of nowhere. So I'm laying down and just kind of weak, real weak. And as the night progresses, I wake up around 3 o'clock and I hear him real congested like he was the night before. And they suction him and put a patch on him. So I'm making sure that's on. So that night, I let them know that I think he needs to be suctioned, and they came in to try to suction him out, and the doctor came in that morning and she gave him 2 more patches and suctioned a little bit more out. So I asked the nurse, what is his the way he's breathing, and it's called the death breath, so they say. The way he's breathing, is that like when we have that real bad cold and we're so full of that phlegm, it's hard for us to breathe? Well, that's stopping from breathing. And she said, no, it's not like that. It's protecting his heart, and at this time his heart is slowing down. So I'm like, okay, I understand, because his blood pressure was 52/34, if I'm correct. And the Shay Phillips is a social worker that worked there. She strolls in the room and she has this haze about her. And I'm looking like, okay. And she was like, Brandy? And I'm like, yes. She was like, Harold. And I was like, yes. So she wanders over to my beads and she was like, oh, you do jewelry? I say, yes, I do waist beads. She was like, waist beads? Oh my goodness. These are so pretty, because I had a bracelet and some waist beads on the thing. And she saw a little eye and she goes to say, oh, the evil eye. And I kind of looked, and she was like, I'm from Turkey, and in Turkey this is considered the evil eye, but it's for protection. I say, yes, like the eye of Ra. And she was like, correct, correct. And she goes to say, well, I say, people demonize that when they, and other people choose not to go and do research to see if it's true or not. but it's actually for protection. And she goes to tell me about her Turkish culture and the color blue, how that's for luck, and she don't understand how they pick blue, but it's blue. Shay goes on to say, I'm not a religious person. I'm a very spiritual person. I don't have anything against religion, but I am I'm just spiritual, and that's the way I live my life. And I say that I'm the same way. I'm the exact same way. So she goes to say, religion, no matter what no matter what your faith is, if you're not loving everyone or understand that there's one creator served in different ways, that you kind of and I say, yes, if your religion makes you to get yourself divided from other people, you should be kind of questioning that, because God is love and God is in the heart. So we were going back and forth about different things and how we view life. And she was saying her light came on when she was 40. And um and I was telling her I've known since I was 5 who I was and what who I was. And I explained that I went through my trials and tribulations because that was a part of the process too. But when I turned 33, it was like, ooh, hey, time to go, time to go. She was like, yes, I've always known too. I've always known. And she mentioned that it's very nice to meet someone that's like me, because we don't really meet each other. And I agree with that. So Shay and I began to talk about death and how death and fear, people have been taught to fear death when it's just a part of the process. And once your mission is over, you go back to the creator or you go into the light. But either way, you're going you're gonna visit God, for so-called God, for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So we continued to talk, and she asked me what did I do for a living. And I said, well, I'm a holistic spiritual consultant, and I'm also a birth doula and a postpartum doula. And she smiled and was like, wow, people are always more so concentrated on the actual births coming in, but these are births also, and they are extremely important. I really kind of looked at her like, what in the fuck she, not, I didn't say the fuck she just, I didn't say that. I was like, where did she come from? Is this real? Because it seemed like I got a glimpse of a deja vu moment. And I was just like, is this real? Is this real? Because of the haze. And she felt good. And we were just going, just flowing. So, come on. Oh, I forgot it. Going and flowing. We was talking about the thing of heaven and hell, and how people have been taught to fear. And when you fear, you miss out on the essence of what it is, because fear is just something it's breeded in everything. Oh no! I was talking about the doula. She smiled, and she said, this is birth also. This is a birth also, and these people need that help, just like the births coming in. And I looked at her sideways, kind of like, what in the hell? Because the whisper had been saying all day, you are a death doula, and I'm like, mm, okay, I hear you. And she came in and was saying, in our conversation, saying some of the same things that I had been talking to Hera about over the last 3 days. And over this morning alone, and I was understanding the confirmation. I was in the moment of it, and I was so amazed. I was so amazed. And I was still very weak. And I'm still weak. I was very weak, and I was starting, something said, and I began to understand, the weaker his heart gets, the weaker I'm getting. I did Reiki on him on Tuesday night, and I may not have closed myself down good enough, but And I did not close myself down good enough. But I did do Reiki on him. And something I said was, I got to be careful what you ask for. Give me his pain. I'll take his pain so he can just come back in peace. He don't have to hurt anymore. Give me what he's feeling. And I equated that to me starting to feel bad all of a sudden, because I'm like feverish, and I had got a lot of congestion in my nasal cavity, and it's been like, whoa. So I'm very tired. So she and I were just talking and talking, and when we discussed, we both said and agreed on that a person can know about their divinity all their life. If you know about it all your life, or even if you get it moments before you die, and you understand the forgiveness part of you, just forgiving yourself, and you understanding that it's an experience. You came to live out an experience for whatever this is, or for yourself, because your energy. You can't, if you grasp that concept of it, you're good, because there's no fear there. You understand that you are a part of the everything that is. And she and I both agreed on that. And she was just coming in, just bam, 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 bam. And my being is saying that, Harold just confirmed in the tub that he could hear everything that I was saying. That what she and I were speaking about, he heard that also. And after we said that statement about the being gets it, once they get it, they go back and they're good. They've completed their mission. He was like, ah, and I looked over, and I jumped up and I touched his chest, and there was nothing. He paused for maybe about 30 or 40 seconds, and he took another breath, and he was gone. He was gone. That was so etheric and beautiful, and Shay was so magical. It's just a trip how the divine orchestrated his transition. And I left to go get my mom. And when I came back, I just had to hug Shay, because I was thinking about, wow, this is so crazy. It's so weird, but it's so real. It's my real anyway. She was a part of his transition team. She was a part of his transition team. I don't know what he was feeling from me saying it, but probably to hear another being coming in, just like hitting it on the head, especially with some of the things I was telling him this morning. Especially with that. That confirmation made him comfortable. And my son, Xavier, my oldest son, he asked me a question. How did you feel in the room with him? What did it feel like? And I was like, it didn't feel like anything. It didn't feel like anything at all. He wasn't scared. He was just really coasting with it. He wasn't scared at all. I didn't feel any kind of fear. No kind of fear at all. No kind of fear. But yeah, I've been initiated into something else. And I will say that those meditations that I put on, because we were both sleeping and I was beading and into the meditation, that was for both of us. That was a beautiful initiation with a man that I love. Harold, he was blind also. I was real down, real depressed, and there was something going on with the husband, and I was walking through the house, and he said, I can't see you, but I feel you. And you heavy. Your heart is real heavy. I want you to know that everything gonna be okay. I want you to know everything gonna be okay. No matter, he goes on to say, no matter what is said or done, I always know a person never forgets good treatment. They never forget good treatment. And you're a good person. I feel you. I was low to the ground that day. And Harold let me know he saw my light. And he taught me about energy that day. He taught me about how energy is affected by how the being feels. He let me know he could feel my energy, so that's powerful. And he lifted me up. I found my light in that. I found my light in it. And he lives, I've always looked at that as he lives in darkness. He can't see. So I know he's always talking to the divine. And that's something that I hate. My mind used to say, go talk to him. Ask him what he see. And I've said that before in joking terms, and he used to always laugh, but he would never elaborate. I'm like, hey, I want to know what be going on. What you be doing up in there? What you be talking about? And he would just laugh. So when he told me that statement, he showed me the light. He helped me when I was going through the phase of my self-love. He helped me find my light. And I look at our experience today with his departure as I helped him birth himself back into the darkness, into where we came from, where he came from. And he was such a beautiful, wild expression. He lived his life. He went out on his terms. And for me, that's all that the divine actually asks. Go there and be what I created you to be, not what other people created, say you should be, things like that. He was just a beautiful, beautiful expression. And I know for a fact things that he experienced in life. He was tapped into the divine masculine and feminine. He was very tapped in. A beautiful, beautiful man. Beautiful man. Just today was just so magical. And I got up this morning and I cried. And I was like, okay, I understand death. I know what it is. I rock with it. It's the other part. And I was really trying to figure out, my heart loves him and my human loves him. And that's what my human was mourning. Because I really liked Harold. I really liked him. I really liked him. So it was just sad. And then I was crying for my mom too, because I felt her pain. I felt her pain. So yeah, a death doula. A death doula. That's something I felt very comfortable in. And I feel like, and I was feeling like everything was intuitively guided. It happened all on purpose, as it should. And on the way back home, my mom mentioned, this is the second man of mine that you've been with when he left this place. And I forgot that her boyfriend Danny transitioned, but I could not remember if I was there when he took his last breath, or if when I got there he was already gone. I can't remember that part, but she said I was there when he took his last breath. So it's very interesting to see how our journeys unfold. It's very interesting to see how just things that we will find much comfort in, just the paths, the different twists and turns. It was very beautiful. I've experienced birth of different kinds. Um, and people may say I'm sick for this, but I don't give a damn. Death is just as beautiful as when someone is coming here. And to sit down with a man that I considered my father, because of the wisdoms that he did drop in me, it was a great pleasure to help, to give him things, to give him jewels that the divine has gifted me with, to give him, to deliver the messages that I was supposed to deliver to him. Yeah.